This whole scene was created by me using just my voice and Claude. I haven't touched Blender even once during the process. All the lights, textures, everything was added by AI. Now it's possible because Claude or Anthropic joined Blender Foundation a few days ago, and now you can actually directly link Claude through the connector to Blender via the MCP server. So I will show you in this video how this works and how to set it up, which is really simple. Then we're gonna talk about the scene and I'll show you what I've done and how this was created. And then I'll give you some tips on what to do and what not to do. It's gonna be really beneficial for you if you wanna try this out. And lastly, we're gonna talk about what I think about this technology as an artist and what it means for us moving forward. Let's get started. So first, let's talk about how to set it up. It's really easy, okay? What you need to do is go to this page, just Google MCP server Blender, and go to this page here, and literally can just click on this and drag it and drop it to Blender window, right? So you literally, what you do is you drag and drop it here. Now you're gonna see some kind of like a weird dialog saying something like unknown repository. Just approve everything and you're gonna be fine. Once you approve that, you go to preferences and you go to extensions and you type MCP and you just have to install this and it's gonna pop up on the add-ons. You don't have to change anything, you know, fiddle with settings. It should be a go out of the box. Now, you need to be working in Blender 5.1. It will not work in any other version. It's only compatible with 5.1. Once you do that, I want you to go to Claude and I want you to go to settings, right? And here on the connectors, you simply go to browse and you search for Blender connectors and you connect to Blender, okay? That's it. That's all you need to do. And once you connect, you're gonna be able to use Claude chat to tell Claude what you want to do in Blender. So for example, I'll show you, right? If I'm gonna go here to my chats and I'm gonna make this window a bit smaller, right? And I'm gonna tell him, listen, can you add one more cube to this scene? Boom. And then you can specify where you want this cube, right? So for example, can you move this cube on the z-axis up by 0.5 meter? And now what I want you to do is I want you to align the rotation of this new cube with the cube that has the AI logo cut out. And also I want you to match the mats of this cube. So just copy the mat from the AI cube to the new cube. And there you go. So basically that's how it works. And you can add lights, you can add cameras, you can add anything you want. You can change colors, add mats, whatever the hell you want, right? So for example, the mats I added also with a prompt. I just told him I wanted a brushed metal mat in a kind of a cyanish color. And he just added all these, you know, nodes in like a few seconds, right? It was an interesting thing though, when we were working on this cutout. I want to show you this because it's actually pretty cool. So normally when you cut something in Blender and you're using booleans, right? You know that every single boolean has two connections running from edge to edge, right? So normally this letter A, right, would have a one edge going somewhere here and one edge going somewhere here. And that's exactly what happened. So if I'm going to go here and dissolve this loop for a second, you will see that this bevel is going to be distorted. And the reason for that is because by default, Blender will draw a corner edge from here to here, and it's going to try to connect these two in a very ugly way, okay? Now, what you really want to do is you want to make sure that the edge that's going to be connecting the boolean to the edge of the face going to be going across the shape more or less at, you know, at least, you know, 70 degrees, preferably 90, you know, so at this angle, right? That's what's happened. So what I did is I told Claude to just run a loop cut on this cube from the bottom at 1/3 of the height. And it did, and it fixed the Boolean problem. So that was really cool, right? And everything else, like for example, volumetrics, because you have volumetrics in this scene, It was added by Claude as well. I just told him I want volumetrics in the scene, and he did that. He changed color of the background, so he actually created nodes for it and choose interesting color for the background as well. He created this infinite backdrop. We were working on the lighting, so we were moving the, because initially he placed the light above the cube, but in the wrong way. He put it way too high, and the light was you know, completely messed up. So I needed to guide him and tell him exactly what I wanted in order to create a pleasing composition and good lighting. But eventually, maybe 15 minutes later, I came up with this scene. It was really quick and easy, and the reason why it took me so long is because I needed to guide him based on axes, you know, and sort of increments on how to move the cubes. Like, for example, when you move a cube, you can't tell him move the cube to the left because he'll not understand. He thinks in Python code, right? You need to tell him move the cube on a -x local axis of this cube, right? And he's gonna know exactly what to do. So that's the key, right? So if you're gonna be working with Claude, you need to understand how he thinks. And once you do that, it's gonna be fun. Now, let me just give you now a few tips that could be very interesting for you working with this AI, okay? First of all, save often. Preferably use something like PowerSave, which is a free add-on, because Blender will crash, okay? So, you know, you gotta be careful. It's nothing to do with Claude or AI. Blender 5.1 isn't super stable, especially when you're using add-ons, so just be careful, right? Now, the cool thing is that if you open Blender again, it's connected to AI already, so you can pick up where you left off. So it's not a big deal. Another thing is that you want to batch your commands. So like instead of saying move the cube to the left and then add this matte and then change the color and then, you know, I don't know, scale it down, you want to batch it in one command. So Claude will send one code instead of 10, because this shit's gonna eat your credits like crazy, okay? If you're running a $20 subscription, then your credits will run out after building a scene like this very quickly, okay? Because it's all very code heavy, and you know, it's going to eat your credit. So you want to batch commands. You want to put as many commands into one sentence as possible, or as many, you know, kind of directives, so he can execute it in one go with one code. Now, when you want to, for example, explain to Claude what you want him to do, and you're gonna take a screenshot of your scene and put it in chat, it's going to take way more credits as well, because he needs to deconstruct the image and read it before it's going to reply and then construct the code. So it's gonna really make it more expensive. So instead, try to explain what you want him to do based on what you see in the scene, right? So again, what I would suggest, like here, creating maybe an axis reference in the scene, so you can visually know which axis is -x, which axis is +y, etc. So you can tell him precisely where you want to move, you know, things in a scene, right? Now, next one's gonna be use voice dictation, because obviously it's much easier than typing. It's faster, so you don't even have to look at what, you know, what's happening on Claude's side. You just look in Blender and enjoying the magic happening, which is a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun. And also start a fresh chat. So, you know, when the context of the chat is really heavy, it's gonna also take on more credits, because it's gonna be looking up things in the chat history, and it's going to be, you know, using more credits as well. So these are my tips for using Claude with Blender. Now, what I think about this technology and, you know, as an artist, and what it means for us, okay? And I'm gonna be very direct right now, and I'm gonna be very blunt. Look, if you're a technical artist and your job is to create mattes, or maybe to recreate models using an existing image, like for example, you're just a technical artist who gets an image from a concept artist, and your job is to basically recreate it one-to-one. Or for example, your job is, you know, creating some node setups and other technical things in Blender, then you either should start looking for another job or start learning new skills, because trust me, you're not gonna last. All these technical jobs, including subdivision, surface, and rig topology, they're gonna be eventually replaced with AI, and I don't think it's gonna take much time, okay? It will not take long. And the moment AI is going to replace, replace rig topology, the pipeline for creating models is gonna change. A lot of people are gonna move probably to plasticity for modeling, and they're gonna be using Blender for other things like texturing, rendering, finishing models, etc. Maybe creating a sub the base and sending it to plasticity. Now we got this new tool in plasticity called polysplines. If you don't know what it is, watch my video. I'm gonna put it on the screen and in the video description. This thing is going to change how you work. The whole pipeline is going to be shifting, okay? So if you're a technical artist, and I don't care if you hurt or you don't like what I'm saying, I really don't give a shit. But that's the truth, okay? You have to embrace the truth. And the sooner you're going to understand that this is going to change, the sooner you're going to fucking move, okay? I've seen a comment recently on my YouTube. Someone said that they're waiting to see what the AI is going to, is going to change in a 3D pipeline, and they're in a limbo state. I mean, if that's your mindset, good luck to you, okay? You can't wait for the technology to catch up or something. That's just stupid, all right? What you want to do, you want to embrace it and think how you can use it creatively in your pipeline. This is a time for entrepreneurs. This is a time for creative people. This is a time for creativity to shine. That's why all the junior positions are disappearing and all the senior positions are being held. Why? Because these people have an experience. And let me explain you an example of this scene. If I didn't know my composition, if I didn't know my visual weight, if I didn't know my negative space, if I didn't know my lighting, I would not be able to create this scene, because AI doesn't know what you want, and AI doesn't know what's a good composition, AI doesn't know what's a good lighting. AI cannot see that. You need to direct it. So you're gonna be this kind of a person in charge, having all these tools helping you to create stuff quicker and easier, and you're gonna be directing them to deliver what you want. So for instance, instead of me going online and researching how to create this brush metal texture, which I couldn't give two shits about how to make this because it's not what I'm interested in, I just tell AI to make it for me or use add-ons. It's just the same thing. And the same with colors. Instead of searching color wheels and matching colors, one to another and making sure that they properly complementary, I just tell AI, listen, find me a warm color for this small cube that's going to be pulling enough weight, but it will not be overwhelming, and it's going to balance the AI cutout and this boolean here on the left hand side with its warm saturated color. So I don't have to look for it. I'm just, telling AI what I want it to do. So it's basically like an executive assistant, okay? So all these technical things like nodes, like I don't have to go to shader editor and create, the volumetrics. I just tell him, add me volumetrics to the scene and make it, really delicate so it's not too heavy. And it did. If you look at the lighting, you see that here we have volumetrics and clearly see that, right? The fireflies. So, it's just simply a very helpful tool. And I think moving forward, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. So if you're a creative person and you have some skills that you can use to create stuff that usually was, very mundane, or you have to go through a lot of technicalities to get there, now you're going to have an opportunity to actually work with AI much faster and deliver visions that you wanted to deliver much quicker and much cheaper, because this is going to evolve. So again, my advice is like this, guys. You have to start learning skills, okay? You have to start learning how to read the light, how to read the composition, how to read the design. You need to start learning how to become an artist, because creativity combined with AI is going to be an answer, okay? If you're going to be a vert pusher and you're going to be recreating what you've seen on the screen, in 2 to 3 years time, you're going to be replaced. This is why I'm telling everyone who asks me to recreate something from a reference, like, take, I don't know, some Apple Watch, whatever, and recreate it in Blender. That's the dumbest fucking request you're gonna have, okay? Because it will teach you fuck all. What you want to learn is you want to learn how to understand the lighting. You want to learn how to understand composition. You want to become an artist. You want to become this creative director, and you want to have all these tools support you on the way. And that's exactly what we do in the Hard Surface Academy. So if you want to join a group of people who are determined to learn and improve, a Hard Surface Academy is a fantastic program for you. So check out our page. It's on blenderbros.com/academy. The link is in the video description. It's a basically personalized coaching program you can join, and we're going to help you on your way to become better and more skilled in the you know, 3D hard surface in Blender, plasticity, whatever it may be, because these skills apply to everything, okay? So anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give this a shot because it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun to just tell, you know, Claude what you wanted to do, and shit just appears in Blender magically. It's just bonkers, man. So it's great. And if you would like to learn why you cannot model anything on your own without a tutorial, if that's your problem, then watch this video next. It's gonna help you out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.